Good evening and welcome back. Today is September 9th, or let me get this right. It's September 15th, 2017. 8 o'clock in the Great Northwest, 11 o'clock Eastern Time. A reminder, we will begin broadcasting at a much earlier time during the week, and as well as all broadcasts. Broadcasting here at 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday, except holidays. And Sunday, we all take a day off, a little family time, catch up on those things we can't get done during the week. And I apologize for the glare. But we're going to move the time so that the folks on the Eastern Seaboard who are working with progressives, independents, people that are running for office that are out there trying to get the word out. And it's important that we see what we're doing nationwide. And if it's so be it that my Senate page is a focus point to help us all draw together and interconnect with each other and support each other in these different states by getting the word out. It's important that we make sure that we work together. Together we can be very strong. And 2018 is going to be a pivotal point in our nation's history as far as elections go. We wonder probably, part of the comment tonight was deep state. How far will the deep state go to thwart that activity of progressives and independents coming into the Congress and the Senate? Something to think about, but I think we already know who the deep state is. They walk among us. Some of them are corporations, heads of corporations, families. And they're playing a pivotal role in the direction of this nation. We can look directly to the military-industrial complex. Who is benefiting? What families? Where are they at? Who are the connections? When the thing that we should be focused on is technology. And I posted earlier before the show tonight, I posted a video that was produced for me on energy. I hope you got a chance to see it. Please do watch it. But it fills in with what we're also talking about, the House bill on energy that was submitted to the Congress September 1st, 2017. So I think that, the energy levels, the deep state, I think is tied directly to our military-industrial complex. And when you see the veil that our leaders that were elected by the people, and then now they're doing the will of the corporations, the only thing that we can do is move in to the Congress and the Senate. In voting blocks, they are going to ensure that the people of this nation are taken care of. Also, we're talking about single payer in the news feeds today as well. It all goes along with our energy concept as well, when you think about it. Medicaid for all. People, children up to the age of 18 would be immediately put on the Medicare. Senior citizens at a certain age would be put on 55 and over, I believe it was, possibly going on the program immediately. And those in between ages would be graduated in over a 4-year period. Well, with the right people, I can see why he's going that way. But let me tell you, with the right people in information technology, and your social security numbers, you don't have to worry. You're already tied into the system. It's just a matter of creating the program that I have IT people looking into, feasibility study. But my understanding of pathways and merging information, setting up security for each level, whatever it may be, would provide us the network that we needed to have each and every one of us tied in, since we're already tied into the Social Security system at birth. Also the IRS tax returns by your parents and parents with your children. We're already tied into the system with a Social Security number. Now, some people are talking about Social Security breach. I mentioned the other day that there was a program out in the early 90s called Family Tree Maker. Now, I bought that copy by Broderbund. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And inside it, to help me with my family search, were CDs. I think there are about 10 of them, maybe 12 CDs of every person and their name and their Social Security number posted right there. I saw my father's, my mother's. I saw everyone's Social Security number that had been born up until 1991, 92 maybe. So that's how current the software was in 92. So that's what, 25 years ago? And we're worried about a security breach at someplace else. That information's been out there. Hackers want it. This is just another diversion. That information has been out there, okay? That information has been out there now for 25 years. Your Social Security number, if you were born before 1991, 92, that information was already on a CD with your name and date of birth and where you were born. How's that for information? So look for if you can, Amazon may have a couple, but go to Broderbund and try to find that early Family Tree Maker, 91 or 92 era, okay? And by doing so, you might be able to see your parents' and your brothers or sisters' Social Security numbers on there too, okay? So think about what's happening and what's been done already. Your Social Security number, if you were born before 1992, has probably been published on a CD-ROM so that you could access it on a Windows 98 platform. Okay? So the whole thing I'm getting at is that information's out there. Yes, you want to safeguard your information the best you can, PIN numbers, et cetera, okay? But as far as your Social Security number goes, it's already been out there for 25 years, okay? If you're older than 25, then your chances are your Social Security number's out there as well, okay, on software somewhere. Go to Amazon, try to look for the Family Tree Maker, and see if you can get a 1991 or 92 edition. See what you pay for. See what you pay for it. But it has to have all the CDs in it. All the CDs, including they call it family death records. It's really your Social Security numbers. Okay, there is family death records on there too, but it also has your private information, the things you use to buy a car and open a bank account. So there you go. Deep state. What are you going to do about it? Can't worry about it. But what we can do is organize and we can vote. We can make sure that we organize we register to vote, get people registered to vote, get the 46% or so people who did not vote in this last general election, and get them out for 2018 in force. Get them out there. There are going to be crossovers from every party. There are going to be crossovers from every party going to the candidate, which, because they're sick and tired of it, they're going to be going to the candidate which is speaking the truth. Those candidates that are speaking the truth and working and wanting to be there for the people and be the voice of their voices. That's what they're wanting. And the only way that can happen is if we show that nationwide, that we can work together. Okay? That way we can overcome this deep state. We can help slow down the militarization complex, industrial military complex that was warned by Dwight D. Eisenhower back in 1960-61. So, I mean, things to think about. Things to think about. How are we going to approach this? We organize, and we're doing a pretty good job of it. We're getting the word out. We need to put progressives in positions that they can actually do something on even on their local levels. Tonight, I endorsed from California a friend of mine that I got to know over the past few years. He is running for a water commissioner position. Now, the good thing about that is, one, he's already a water protector because he believes in protecting the environment. And with his drive and motivation, he can help protect that region's water supplies. He'll have access to a lot of different things, what they're planning, what projections are, all this stuff he'll have access to. And I couldn't think of a better person there working, a true public servant. Okay? Check out my page. I believe we've posted his link. It's a very cool campaign sign, too. I mean, it has a real hand coming in and holding on, and the next hand is one made out of water. It is so cool. You got to check it out. I mean, I wish I had thought of that idea. I mean, it's just Danny Garcia. Go check him out. Okay? Google that. Google it or Facebook it. Okay? Because we can't survive without it. And I like the position that he's in. I have family and friends down throughout that area. And I am so happy to see someone like him working on that. So it doesn't make any difference to me what positions we're running for, folks. If we're running for commissioners, if we're running to take care of the water supplies, to be part of that commission, to be able to be representatives in our Congress, in our state Congress, in our state Senate, our local mayors and council members. Those people are part of the grassroots foundation as well. And working, they're doing what they can. They're candidates. So we need to make sure that we support those candidates in our local elections. And we need to get more of that organized. And we're still working on that, folks. We're getting a lot of input as far as names and everything to hear. And we'll be transferring that over to our .com in the order that I was telling you about. Those states, you know, and then having the people who are doing it, what they're doing, with their link to their website. So if you're in that particular state, you'll be able to go visit the sites of people who are in the same mindset that we are, and that is the environment. That is, you know, a chance for us all to get together and actually prosper without our toil, our sweat, our blood and tears and all that stuff going to only gratify the 1%. We need a much more equitable wage for all of us. Okay? We need that health care for all, too. And like I just finished saying, you got your Social Security card. That's your gateway to universal health care. Good evening, Tony, Jadapa, and Ray. It's good to see you all tonight. I hope everyone got a chance to see that one video. I know a couple of people who may have, but the one on energy. Tulsi Gabbard, I've got it right here. Let me do a little, let me pull it up right here, right now. It's HR 3671, and it was submitted to the House of Representatives September 1st, 2017. Now, the gist of this bill here in it is by 2035, we are not reliant on fossil fuels. I would like to include in that also nuclear fuel, because we can't seem to handle the waste. Once we get it, once we create it, we can't seem to get rid of the radioactivity. And, you know, it forced because our scientists have not figured out a way to detox it or reverse engineer it. So I'd like to see a stay put on nuclear fission for a while until they figure out a way to take it apart without harming the environment. I think that's anyway with any hazardous material. If we created it, we should be able to uncreate it. And if we can't uncreate it, then we have no business creating it, especially if it's going to be a toxic substance that is going to be in the environment, affecting our food supply and water, and therefore threatening our own health and well-being. We're humans. We're the dominant species here, so let's act dominant and protect the environment. Let's be the dominant species and protect the environment for all, not just for some, not some little hideaway, getaway people out there. I know they've already got their hideaways, and they probably got it manned with at least a company of armed soldiers, mercenaries. I would not put that in my, I mean, you have to think about the evil that people can do. Then you can start to see, wow, this could really get bad. So we need to protect our environment so that we have fresh water for all, that we have safe food supplies, that we're not destroying our environment for a few dollars. You can't eat money. Yeah, money can buy you food, but you can't have food if there's nothing to grow. Being a proponent on this energy bill to make sure that we support her. And I have two more links on things that are before the House, and they're out there that were given to me last night. And I got to briefly read the HR 3671. I got to glance over it. It's going to be an easy read. And because I believe in protecting the environment, we do have the technology to do whatever we want. We can make a car go 3,000 miles across this country on a battery system. Penny Miley from Marysville. Welcome tonight, Penny. We'll be going to an earlier time. You're in, Marysville, Washington. I'm thinking Marysville, Ohio. But yes, Mary, or Penny, we're going to be starting our broadcast beginning Monday at 6 p.m. And by going 6 p.m., then the folks that are in this progressive movement will be able to join in much greater numbers, and we'll be able to interact with a greater amount of people by going to 6 p.m. I mean, 8 o'clock that we are now. I'm so pleased to have some comments going on right now. And yes, yes, Penny, yes. Um, Tony states, great information regarding Social Security. My income is $16.52 per month, but it's reported as $18.84. And my Medicare A and B is $192. So now I have to go to the Social Security office because I discovered that I'm being overcharged by $82. Congress needs to change the law. How many of our seniors whose monthly payments are rising as they live out the rest of their lives in a retirement community in comfort and well taken care of? Question mark. We must take care of the widows and the orphans and our brave warriors who have received and sacrificed their lives to preserve our inalienable rights in America, in a dysfunctional world. I have faith in you. Oh, thank you, Tony. I know you will make a great senator representing Washington State. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. But we can't do that if we don't all pull together. We need to make sure that people are going and registering to vote. We need to then get out there and vote. In order for me to get to the general election, we need to make it through the primary. Right now, I pretty much stand alone on many of my opponents' platforms. They have their positions, I have mine. I'm not bound by corporations or PAC money. I am operating solely on you people. And your support every night, your sharing of these broadcasts is a boon to the movement. And not just my Senate race, but those out there in other states, other parts of this state, who are running as well against an incumbent who has been there and hasn't really done anything. And so we need to work together and change that, okay? We need to change it and make it be very progressive for us, the citizens, the residents of Washington. We need to make sure that those folks in Indiana are getting a fair shake too. I can't sign a bill or say yes to a bill that's going to affect another state adversely. Because as soon as I do that, there'll be a bill that comes in, and even though I vote against it, will affect the people in Washington adversely. So know this, I will not put future Washingtonians on the line to get a bill passed and have it hurt someone else, only to have it come back and bite us tenfold. We have to be considerate about what we're doing. We are a nation. We're just not Washington State, although it's one of the most beautiful states in the country. If more people know we are a sovereign nation, we can advocate for an increase in Social Security. How about a standard income? Elon Musk had talked about a standard income, a basic income. Now, your Social Security has been earned, credited, your accounts all through your life and working. And there's even been the ability to put in funds for those who, for some reason, not their own, have been disabled. And so there is the ability for those folks as well to be taken care of, which is a good thing. But a basic income would be very nice to supplement that Social Security income. If we had $12,000 a year per citizen, that means $12,000 each. If you have 5 kids, you get 5 times 12. And if you're a single mother, you're able to provide for your children the way you need to. You can get them the adequate health, child care that they need, so that if you're working, you'll be able to take care of that. You won't be by living in extravagant means, but you'll be living a little bit more comfortable, knowing that your children are getting a good, healthy diet. So yes, I understand that completely, that we should have some type of basic income. I mean, when you think about the trillions of dollars from our gross national product, they're going to the top. The money that is offshore, banked offshore, no taxes being paid on it, no industry being actually produced, no heavy industry at all. It's a shame. No infrastructure bills, none of that. So we need to get out there and get elected. We need to make sure that the people know about who is progressive, so that we can get these things across. My thing is, we can institute the healthcare single payer real quick. It's Social Security number. You're already tied into it. If you're 25 years or less, you're already in the system. If you're 18 years old, you're already in the system. If you're 5 years old, you're already in the system. You're already in the system. So it's not a hard thing for you to go into a doctor's office, flashing your Social Security card with your picture on it, and getting your doctor's visit taken care of. Have a monthly. If you were, let's say, single, your healthcare bill might be at 25 plus a copay. And when you dump 350 million Americans into the healthcare system, that's a lot of money generated on monthly things, and a lot of us aren't going to do it. I have yearly checks. That's it. Yearly checks. I'm retired somewhat, but yearly checks. Taxes don't fund spending. The Social Security fund will never run out because we are a sovereign nation. Penny, yes, and that comes directly from the MMT theory. And yes, I'm fully aware of that. But the trillions of dollars that have been taken from Social Security that are supposed to be there, where did those trillions go? On to balance budgets, this or that, or whatever. But you're absolutely right, Penny. There's no way. Yes, MMT. Yes, yes. There's no way that a sovereign nation such as ours should ever worry about a debt ceiling. If the money is going into the infrastructure, the gross national product will also produce. No, dude. No, dude. Explain, Penny. Did I say something that wasn't quite there? Let's see here. Let me read. Penny, could you explain no, dude, please? If I misspoke, I need to make sure. Okay, Tony, you're saying, David, you're elected. How will you work with Congressional Black Caucus to eliminate the divisions between brown and white that Trump administration has devisively created for the wealthy 1 or 2% as Americans' first solidarity and have a civil discussion? Okay. Well, first of all, anyone who knows me, I don't look at our tone, our skin, where we're from, or whatever. If you have the chance to meet me in person, you'll see that I'm very approachable. You'll see that I don't have any social mores that afflict other people. I don't have any trouble working with those caucuses, Tony. I have no problem at all. None whatsoever. And the divisions, It's pure racism. It's pure racism, bigotry, hatred, fear. You know, I'm not afraid. Why are you afraid? Why are you racist? Why are you against this race or this group? Why are you against a woman's rights? Yeah, that's what I'm going to be running into when I get there. And I said the other night, I'm looking for a good fight. I haven't had one in a long time. And it looks like we got one. I don't walk away from fights either. As you get to know me more, you will understand that what I just said is exactly right. Don't let the gray hair fool you, okay? Don't let the gray hair fool you. Um, but yes, we have to stop the division. We let them divide us into groups based on our ethnicity, based on our color, based on our language, based on this, based on that. That based because we fart in the shower, something like that, you know, something really obscure, which don't mean nothing. I've seen some of those white supremacists. I can't help but laugh at them. I mean, I pity them also because they are missing so many different fabrics of the human existence, like putting themselves in a albino classification. That's right. They're not white supremacists, they're albinos. But I'm sure that if you check their DNA, that they would find out that they're not so white after all. So they need to come forward and they need to get it straight, plain and simple. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That stuff has got to stop, and I will not. I will not. I don't have to take that, okay? And I will not take it. If I'm confronted by it, I will stand up to it. Count on it. If the Black Caucus wants to work with me, I will gladly work with them. I mean, why wouldn't I want to? Those are a group of people like-minded. Maybe we can actually find some of the things that we need to do in neighborhoods that have been segregated, then run down, then condemned, and then gentrified, and sold for millions and millions of dollars that should have been in that economy to begin with. So that's how I feel about it. Equality, race, what they're doing, it's wrong. We allow Nazis to walk down the street with their waving their flags and in step with the Aryan Nation and the KKK. They have a right to do that. But why are they? But all three. Why are all three of them backing losers? Why are all three of them backing losers? They surrendered, people. They surrendered, whether you like it or not. If you don't like it, you can leave. You keep telling other people that they can leave. Well, you're the ones who are traitors. You're the ones who are dishonoring the American veteran. You are the one that's dishonoring your neighborhoods. You're the one that's making fear go into the neighborhoods. You need to leave. Period. You don't ever want to tell a minority, go back where you came from. In some cases, they were brought here against their will. Remember slavery? So, racist? That's your choice. As you start carrying a Nazi flag, a swastika, a flag, thinking you're freaking Adolf Hitler's flower children, or Aryan nations, thinking that you are a superior race, that sounds like Nazism. That sounds like WW2, the elimination of people, Serbians, Jews, and who knows who else, Russians as well. And three, The dumb MFs that fought for the Civil War and the rich landowners because they were afraid they were going to lose their ability to, they were worried about their stuff, the 1%. Okay? The 1% was interested in their stuff. And you let your own racism and hatred, and preserving the white way, not the right way, but the white way. And that's what Elmer Fudd would say, the white way. It's the wrong way, okay? We had a civil war. Our nation shed a lot of blood. My family fought on both sides of that war. Right or wrong. Slavery was one time a big thing in this nation. Yes, and we did have not only white slave traders, but we also had those people living in Africa, Africans, enslaving their own people for the slavers that would come and fill up their boats. We have to remember our history. We have to remember the genocide of the first people, the treaties that we signed and we have walked all over. And if y'all could read Tony, you got some pretty long posts here, bro. I want to emphasize white lives matter too. Well, yes, all lives matter. I don't look at color. This color division, that's just part of their game, Tony. White lives, blue lives, black lives, brown lives, polka dot lives. All lives matter. We're all human beings, period. And what you see sometimes in videos that are on the net, men running away from an officer and 2 or 3 rounds go off and the man drops down dead. Folks, they practice with their weapons all the time. They practice with their weapons all the time. And for as many kill shots that are leveled against our population, you notice I didn't say black population or minority population, I said our population. Those citizens were your part of your population. They were part of your neighborhood. Even if they were bad and had done something wrong, the plain and simple matter is this. You know how to discharge your weapon and you know where that round is going. Here lately, it seems like every round is a kill shot. That's why I support Initiative 940 to train police in de-escalating and getting some training, including emergency medical training, but learning how not to be feared by the neighbors and the people they serve. It's important that this initiative goes through, gets on the ballot. But Initiative 940 here in the state of Washington, I encourage you, those of you in other states, if you don't have something similar to that, start trying to make it happen. There may be a deadline. December 31st may be the deadline for submitting it. You may need 100,000, 200,000 signatures. You don't know. But if you want that same type of bill, initiative passed in your state, then we need to get working on it. And I know that some of our inner cities and bigger cities, states that are much more occupied and denser than what we are here in Washington State, we need to make sure that those areas affected by this type of activity, this lack of training and compassion by our law enforcement, we need to make sure that they're not fearful. We need to make sure that the good cops get rid of the bad cops. We need to get rid of any influence of KKK in our departments. You want to be KKK? Well, you need to go someplace where, I really don't know where that kind of racial hatred plays out. I'm trying to think where it is. I don't know. Maybe you could go, if you're into racial hatred and everything like that, and you're a police officer or a fireman or whatever, EMT, you need to do this. You need to go someplace where they have all kinds of stuff going on. I suggest someplace in Africa. That way you have no trouble figuring out who your enemies are, and they have no trouble figuring out who their enemies are. Okay? Go at it, have a slugfest, but we're tired of it here in this country. We're tired of it nationwide. I know that we can't always do the right things, but we need to try to be the best we can. And if we do something wrong, we need to make sure that we correct it as quickly, if not immediately, as we can. Let me see what else you wrote here, Tony. But yes, all lives matter. And I can see, Tony, you're a man of color. And you can see that I look like that white guy. But if you're O positive, I'm O positive as well. Okay? If you needed a blood transfer, I'd be able to get one from you, or vice versa. We all bleed the same color. I don't think any of us are Vulcan. I wouldn't mind meeting some Vulcans right now. They operate on logic, and we don't seem to have any in our halls of Congress or the Senate. A little bit of logic would play handy right now, wouldn't it? But no, the deep state is all about division, control. It's an act of war. It's a maneuver in war. What's being committed on us now for a very long time. I'd say for the last 60 years. Skirmish here, skirmish there. 1970, we had 4 dead in Ohio, protests in the Vietnam War. National Guard shot 4 protesters. We need to make sure that we're on the right track. And somehow the deep state has immersed itself into our government. And there's a very few people who are running the government. These are people that are picked out in different parts of the country and elevated to a stature of being able to control the government. But these people that they rise up in power are only pawns. That's their only purpose. They're a pawn. They act like they're a king or a queen. But they're only pawns. They're the grunts out there doing the dirty work so the others can hide. But we know who you are. We're going to replace your flunkies. We're going to put a progressive Congress and Senate together. We're going to put progressives and independents working together. And there are probably going to be some good Dems and some good Republicans that want to see the welfare of the nation. Yes, they're out there. And maybe they're just hoping for all of us to show up next year. What do you think of that? It'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? So you want to remember to follow those people in your areas. You want to make sure that you're registered to vote. You want to make sure that in Washington that you do the same. And I want you to vote for me, Washington. I want you to send me to our nation's capital, along with other progressives here in the state of Washington. I want us all to go there and just do what we have to do. Plain and simple. Just do what we have to do. Let your voice be heard for the first time in a long time. And it's going to be a mighty roar. I talked about a friend of mine who's a water protector. And since I brought that subject up, we need to think about winter is coming upon us. There are going to be water protectors out there across the nation, everywhere. Anything that you can send them, dry goods as in dry, beans, rice, things of that nature that store easy. We need to make sure that they have plenty of water, medical supplies, because we know what happened in Standing Rock. We know that mercenaries who are guarding those areas have no qualms about shooting people and hurting them. So we need to make sure that there are medical supplies as well. We need to make sure that there are tarps, if they're not available already, and possibly even consider what it would take to get building materials sent there to them. Some of the shed kits, the kits that you can go to Lowe's or Home Depot or some other company, or you see the stands along the road. People are selling shed kits. I call them little mother-in-law houses. But anyway, they could be nice ones that could be set up, and they could be insulated as well for the winter. But they'd be also, during the rainy season, a dry, comfortable place to get in. We just have to make sure that, there's rock or sand or something else that can be put around the doorway so that there's not a mud hole for them to walk in and out of as they're getting into a dry area. A dry place where they can sit and get some rest, lay down and get some rest. You could even put bunks in something like that, real easy. You could probably put 12 people in there, 10 people in there. And have a commissary, put a few of them together and have commissaries. But we need to think about these people. We need to think about the first people that are out there, the water protectors out there protecting the environment for you and me, all across this nation. We need to think about finding out where they're at. We'll do our best to make those postings here. But sending what we can. I'm not saying you bankrupt the farm, but send what you can, okay? Do what you can to help out. Some people may find it's just as easy to donate money, and you can do that on their websites. Just make sure that you're going to a website, one of the ones that they're sanctioned in. Ask other people on the net too, water protectors, who would they go to? We have several tribes here in the Evergreen State, and they're actively involved in the environment, salmon runs, etc., and making sure that the fish stocks are able to do what they do best, multiply. And so we need to make sure that we're doing what we can to assist those water protectors. They're doing all the grunt work, and so we need to help them out a little bit. So think about that later on. Especially, you might want to start preparing since winter is almost upon us. We're coming to tonight's close. We'll be live again tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. We'll talk more about energy. If you hadn't had a chance, I posted an energy example that can be accomplished. The technology is out there for us to use right now, and some of it's in production. And we can make that 2035 happen. I mean, damn it, if the local people aren't going to do it, as far as municipalities and endorse green technology and grid tie, then go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. Let them show their totalitarian state. Let them show their dictatorship rule so we can shove it in their face. Start planning, America. Go green wherever you can. I have an eco car, which is a start. It's a hybrid. It's a start. I don't drive my Tahoe that often. But the point I'm trying to make is, let's go green. We can do it. Read that HR 3671. Read it. It gives us a blueprint, a guide. And just think about all the technology that's out there now. We can go to alternative fuels. We can even supply heavy industry with the fuel that they need via electricity. Anybody ever use an arc welder or a MIG welder? You get my point? It melts steel. So, thank you all for showing up. Thank you for the shares. And thank you for the comments. Enjoy the night. It's Friday. Relax and spend some time with people that make you laugh. And we'll see you tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. And again, we're going to 6 o'clock beginning Monday. Good night, everyone.